It was one of those proper winter mornings in the Netherlands, the kind where snow falls politely, but public transport takes it very personally. Buses were delayed, trains were delayed, and yet somehow through a mix of optimism and blind faith in Dutch scheduling systems, we made it to Groningen station just in time to catch our train to Rotterdam. Groningen station is without question my second favorite station in the country, after Amsterdam Central of course, and arguably the most beautiful after it too. Built in 1896 and designed by architect Isaac Goschalk, this station is a celebration of Dutch craftsmanship. Stained glass, ornate ceilings and murals that quietly tell stories of industry, trade and movement. Inside, it feels grand in that understated Dutch way, not loud but confident. A space that assumes you will notice the details, if you care to look. With a few minutes to spare, I stopped for hot matcha. In again, my favorite Starbucks in the Netherlands. I know, too many favorites here. But I just love it. And I think it's beautiful. The train ride itself was classic Dutch scenery. Snow-covered flatlands, steel canals, and windmills standing stoically in the distance. We switched trains at Utrecht Central, possibly one of the busiest stations in the Netherlands after Amsterdam Central. It is a slick and efficient hub that moves people with quiet precision. From there, it was only about 40 minutes to Rotterdam Central. We arrived and headed straight to the metro. The reason for this trip? The new Fenix Museum. But first, lunch. A quick 5-minute walk brought us to Hotel New York on Wilhelminapeer. Built in 1901, it was once the headquarters of the Holland-American Line, the shipping company that transported thousands of migrants from Europe to North America. In 1993, it was converted into a hotel. A perfect example of how the Dutch repurpose buildings to maximize their famously limited land. Space here is negotiated, engineered and reclaimed. After all, they say, God created the world and the Dutch created the Netherlands. There was a special seafood session on the menu, so I went with the salmon for my main and tomato soup for my starter. From our table, we could even spot the museum, a striking contemporary structure rising confidently against the winter sky. After lunch, we walked over slowly. The snow had turned the pavements icy and slightly treacherous, so we took our time. The Fenix Museum opened in 2025 and is dedicated entirely to the story of migration, past and present. It is fittingly located on Wilhelminapeer, once a departure point for countless migrants leaving Europe in search of new lives. The main entrance feels intentional, an information center where you can purchase tickets, and then an impressive spiral silver staircase that pulls you upward into the exhibitions. It mirrors the feeling of arrival halls at major European airports, that moment of transition. Once you step inside, you are immediately transported into an experience rather than just a building. One of the first works you see is Patterns of Migration by Zimbabwean artist Dan Halter, made from the familiar blue and red woven bags many immigrants know very well. They are practical, durable, and often used to carry a life across borders. This piece quietly reflects the reality of movement, what we pack, what we leave, and what we hope to begin again. Another striking piece is by Ukrainian artist Daria Kozhai, a replica of her childhood bedroom in Kyiv. It is covered entirely in newspapers from 1991, the year Ukraine gained independence. It is intimate and reflective, a reminder that history is often experienced first as something deeply personal, long before it becomes something global. Then there's this powerful installation by Syrian artist Abdullah Al-Omari. World leaders Trump, Macron, Putin, Assad, Kim Jong-un, and even Clinton all placed together in a wooden boat. Reimagined not as powerful figures, but as vulnerable passengers. It gently suggests that in the face of human displacement, everyone is the same in a fragile vessel. A sobering but thoughtful perspective. Across the hall is a major photography exhibition titled The Family of Migrants. It features approximately 200 photographs by 136 photographers from around the world. It traces migration from the late 19th century till today. Departures, reunions, losses, and hope. In 1914, Gurjit Singh sailed from Hong Kong to Canada and was denied entry. Over a century later, in 2022, a man named Volodymyr said goodbye to his girlfriend at Lviv station before heading to the front lines after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Different eras, same human ache. The exhibition makes one thing clear: migration is timeless, and above all, deeply human. Downstairs, you step into the labyrinth of suitcases. An audio guide in multiple languages lets you hear the stories behind them, with the oldest from 1898 to the newest just from last year. Over 2,000 suitcases have been collected by the museum, each once packed at a turning point in someone's life. Some journeys were chosen, and as you walk through the labyrinth, you can simply tap the audio device on the selected suitcase tag and listen to the stories that they carry. If you had to pack your entire life into one suitcase, what would you take? Overall, the museum feels thoughtfully curated, immersive without being overwhelming, and reflective without being heavy-handed. It invites you to observe rather than instructing you on how to feel. It was all in all a 10 over 10 experience, and I would totally recommend it when you're visiting Rotterdam. We stepped outside to briefly take in the city. You'll quickly notice that Rotterdam's architecture is dramatically different from most Dutch cities, as it was destroyed during the World War II bombings and rebuilt into bold and modern styles. Glass, steel, and experimental architecture dominate the skyline here, with the tallest building in the city, the Salmhaven Tower, rising about 215 meters high, standing confidently above it all, a reminder that Rotterdam is always looking forward. Before it got dark, with winter daylight being short and very unserious, we decided to take a water taxi back, which I would absolutely recommend. It is one of the coolest ways to see Rotterdam from the water, and you can book tickets online. It will only set you back about €6 per person. It was cold, windy, and very character building, but still completely worth it. If you're visiting in the winter and would rather stay warm while still enjoying the water, I would totally recommend the water taxi or the Pannekuchen boat cruise, which is also a brilliant option. On the Pannekuchen boat, you can enjoy heated interiors, Dutch pancakes, and city views without the wind trying to rearrange your face. And just like that, we headed home. slightly frozen, culturally enriched, and very proud of ourselves for leaving the house in actual snow. Bear in mind that the Netherlands in the winter is not for the faint-hearted, but for the well-layered. Stay warm, and I'll see you on the next vlog. As we say in Dutch, tot ziens!